Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and big news, Marvel just announced that Thor is going to become a female, or they're going to start a female Thor title. So this is going to be a breakdown of what's going on specifically, who I think they're going to give the hammer to, and how I think it's going to affect the movie universe down the road. Real quick, hello to any new people. If you're just finding me for the first time, I do Marvel videos every week. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. I'm going to be doing some special Comic-Con stuff I'll explain at the end of this video. So right off the bat, let's look at what Marvel actually said. This is just happening in the comics. In the wake of Original Sin, Thor will no longer be deemed worthy of wielding Mjolnir, at least by the terms of Odin's inscription. So instead of just sitting in a closet, the hammer is going to pass to a new person, and that person will be a female. So what was it that Thor did to lose him the hammer? During Original Sin, the Thor storyline revolves around Angela and explaining why she's the sister of Loki and Thor, and why we just met her this past year. She debuted at the very end of Marvel's Age of Ultron storyline, and has been part of the Guardians of the Galaxy ongoing comic. If you forgot about the end of Age of Ultron, Wolverine essentially effed up the space-time continuum, and she just randomly appeared in the galaxy, and then just started running around with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Original Sin, or at least the Thor parts of it, that ongoing comic, is meant to fill in her backstory. Her character used to be part of the Spawn comics. Neil Gaiman created her, and because of a bunch of legal rights issues and a lawsuit that he just won, he brought that character, the Angela character, to Marvel, and they turned her into an Asgardian who's the daughter of Odin, or the secret daughter. So real quick, just minor spoiler alert for Original Sin, because I'm going to talk a little bit about her backstory and what Thor possibly does to lose the hammer. So I'll wait just a sec. Okay, ready? Here we go. So Angela was supposedly killed during an ancient Asgardian war with the 10th realm. We've only talked about there being 9 realms in the movie, so this 10th realm was like a brand new thing in this Original Sin comic. Because of that crime, Odin severed the connection between the 10th realm and the other 9 realms, which is why whenever he talks about the realms, he only talks about the 9 realms. So in the Original Sin comic, Loki and Thor travel to the 10th realm to learn all about Angela. That hasn't debuted yet. That won't come till September. So whenever that debuts, we're going to learn exactly what it is that he does to lose him the hammer. It's possible that he could reconnect the 10th realm to the other 9, or do something else really terrible. He's going to have to do something really epic to lose that hammer, like Tony Stark levels of stupidity. The new Thor comic will just be called Thor, and it's going to debut in October, Thor #1, after the Original Sin Thor miniseries. I think it's an interesting way to reimagine the title. They're not killing Thor, they're just giving the hammer to someone else. There are a few logic issues here. In their statement, they were pretty clear that this would not be Lady Thor or Thorita or some variation on Thor. It would be the main Thor title. So technically, Thor would stop being Thor and someone else, a female, would take up the mantle. They were not really clear whether or not she would be calling herself Thor, because Thor is not an alter ego. That's his name. It's like Loki is Loki's name. It's not a secret identity. I think Marvel is going to explain some of these details at Comic-Con, and what Thor is going to be doing when he loses the hammer, presumably trying to make himself worthy again. My overall reaction is just curiosity. Obviously, I haven't read the comic yet, but I'm always open to new things in the literature. Just because the comics can exist independently of the movies and the video games, they can try like really crazy things, and if it pays off, it's a huge win. But which character are they going to give the hammer to? Like, who is this person going to be? The most likely candidate is Angela. The whole impetus for Thor losing the hammer revolves around her, so it's the logical next step of that story. But Marvel released a couple of teaser images, and the female Thor did not have Angela's ginger complexion. That doesn't mean that it's not Angela, but there are a couple of alternatives. We've met Thor's 3 daughters when he traveled to the future last year. Each of them embodied aspects of his personality. It could be one of them, or it could be Valkyrie. We haven't seen her in a little while. There are a few other female Asgardians though, like Freya herself. She's been Allmother in Odin's absence in the past. And then there's Lady Sif, but I don't think it's going to be either of them. Honestly, I really do think it's going to be Angela, and they're just going to explain why they're going to change her hair color. Marvel will probably keep the secret of who it is until later this year. I don't think they're going to flat out say who it is at Comic-Con. They're just going to tease other details. So the real big question is how is this going to affect the movie universe, or is it going to affect the movie universe? Not right now, and not for the foreseeable future. Chris Hemsworth is Thor until he serves out his 6-picture contract, and he could always renew after that's over. He's got 2 more movies on that right now, which will likely be Thor 3 and Avengers 3. So if we do see someone new playing the Thor character on screen, it won't be till Phase 4 or way later. Marvel is really good about hedging their non-Robert Downey Jr. bets. He's kind of an exception. That's why I think there's going to be no Iron Man 4 during Phase 3. They're just going to wait till after Avengers 3, and then they're going to recast the role. But I think in the comics, though, if this female recasting thing with Thor works, then they could always experiment with it down the road in the movies. But here's why I think they're probably not going to do that. I don't think they're going to make the next Thor in the movies a female, even if they do recast it. I think they'll just make a female character movie like Black Widow or Captain Marvel. I think that's what most people are expecting the big surprise to be at the Marvel Comic-Con panel. They're going to announce Doctor Strange, they'll announce like a date for that, and they'll announce the mystery movie is going to be a Black Widow movie. If you're not familiar with Marvel's movie phases, right now we're still in phase 2. The phases just comprise large story arcs that cross over each of the individual character movies, then culminate in the big Avengers team-up movies, phase 2, Avengers 2, phase 3, Avengers 3, and so on. Right now, Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers 2 are the last 2 movies in phase 2. After that, Ant-Man is going to be the first phase 3 movie. So here's a bit of logistics. Based on the amount of time they have between Avengers movies, they can really only fit about 6 movies into each phase, unless they decide to change that. They could always announce something like that at Comic-Con, that they're going to do 7 movies in phase 3 instead of 6. So they already have several phase 3 movies planned. Here's what they have right now. Ant-Man is going to be the first phase 3 movie. Captain America 3, Thor 3, Avengers 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, even though that's technically not confirmed, and Doctor Strange, although that is also not technically confirmed. Of course, it is totally possible that they could just announce a date for that Doctor Strange movie and just completely pass over Black Widow news. There's plenty of time between now and whenever production would have to start on any kind of Black Widow movie for them to wait till Comic-Con 2015 to announce a female character movie, but eventually it's going to happen. The reason why I think Black Widow is going to be the first female-driven movie is because they've already established the character pretty significantly, and they have ScarJo under contract. It would be a lot easier than having to establish a whole new character and having to cast them, a la Captain Marvel. So if you're wondering what a Black Widow movie might look like, it'd be more like a Winter Soldier-y version of a Captain America movie. Her just wiping more red off her ledger, dealing with her troubled past. But now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments below, what is your reaction to the female Thor news? And do you think that they're going to announce a Black Widow movie at Comic-Con? Do you think that's going to be the big surprise? I will actually be recording that Comic-Con panel. Be sure to subscribe to get all that stuff. I've got a bunch of other Comic-Con related stuff that's going to happen. I'll explain that in a future bonus video. But just recently they announced that a bunch of footage from Age of Ultron was screened at London. So my next bonus video tonight is actually going to be a breakdown of what that is. So you guys get like double Marvel today. You can click here to get that. I'll add the annotation as soon as I post it tonight. And you can click here for my Ronan the Accuser Guardians of the Galaxy video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.